suppose we should start with your fitness, really, shouldn't we? Given all the recent scare, how's the groin?
Yeah, it's good. Did it the last county game. Unfortunately, I did it on the last ball of an over, so I went straight off. And yeah, fortunately, it's not too serious. Been back bowling and running, so confident I'll be fit and firing soon.
You also got to be a little bit wary of what happened in 2019. Did you? Yeah, you went in the first, was it after 4 overs and didn't bowl again that summer. And is that at the back of your mind? Is that an experience?
Not really. Obviously, it's got its similarities, but that was a serious calf that I did, and then it was always a race against time to get fit for that first test. You know, similarly, we had the Island test before that series, which I missed, but then felt like I'd be okay in that first game, and just unfortunately it went again. Just one of those things. As a fast bowler, obviously it's hugely frustrating. I felt like let the guys down as well, leaving so early on in the game. But unfortunately it can happen, and this time, as I said, the injury is not as serious. We've got more time to actually let it recover and heal and build it up before the first test.
Apart from obviously the injury, do you feel you've had a lot of bowling, probably more so than you would have done in most years before the first test of the big Ashes series? Do you feel primed and more ready to go than ever before?
Yeah, I do. I felt a little bit rusty actually the first couple of games for Lancashire, which can happen after a little bit of a break. The last 2 games, as I said, I felt really, really good. Felt like my rhythm was there. Felt like I was really getting somewhere with my bowling. So yeah, hopefully, once I pick the bowling up again, hopefully I can just carry on where I left off.
What have the coach and captain done to bring the best out of you at this stage of your career?
I don't know. I think I really enjoy the sort of environment that they've created in the dressing room. As I said, the relaxed nature of it. Everyone enjoying each other's company and having fun around practice. Messing around with different things in training. I remember back to a practice we had at the Oval last summer, and me and Ben were just messing around, bowling in the middle and trying different angles to our run-ups and trying to swing the ball more than the other one, and just having a bit of fun around it. And then on the field, obviously the way we're playing, for bowlers in particular, I think obviously everyone's focused on the batting a little bit because of the way we've played.
Yeah.
But actually there has been a shift in mentality in the bowlers as well.
Yeah.
Trying to just not worry about economy rates and just looking at how we're going to take 20 wickets on any given day. And I think that sort of slight shift has really made people think outside the box, trying to set quirky fields or just think differently about bowling at certain players. And I think that's really helping.
Was it? I mean, there's any points where you thought, hang on a minute, sometimes we've got to rein it in, but sometimes we've got to not concede runs. And do you think that might change during an Aussie series or not?
Yeah, it might do. But I think the whole thing about the whole thing that we're trying to achieve is obviously the Ben Singh is the first thing he wants is to entertain. Yeah. So that's at the forefront of everyone's mind. So for me, like as a bowler, I'm thinking of the skills I can use to try and entertain people as well as getting wickets. But I think one thing that we're trying to learn, in particular with the batting, is when to go on the attack, because obviously we've seen when we've just gone hell for leather from ball one. Sometimes it can work. Sometimes you might come unstuck a little bit. So again, I think with experience, we'll start reading into how to do that at certain times. And there will be times against a quality bowling attack, there'll be times where you've got to soak up pressure, and maybe not just try and hit sixes every ball. But then there will be times when if we soak that up for enough amount of time, then we can put pressure back on them.
Do you think? I mean, Australians have always had this kind of view of English conservatism, and and this is the way they play the game. We're very formulaic. Do you think they're in for a shock on that front?
I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to predict how they're going to play. They'll have seen us play in the last 12 months and see the style of cricket we've been playing, and I'm sure they'll be discussing ways of counteracting that. And they'll obviously, whenever I've played against Australia, they always try and fight fire with fire. They try and come back even harder at you. So I'm expecting them just to, not necessarily try and slog us out of the park with the bat, but they'll come hard with the ball, we know that, and with the bat they've got quality players and then they will at times try and be quantitative. So we've just got to, again, I think it's important we focus on the stuff that's got us to where we are now, and that is us.
Do you think they'll try and out Bazball?
I've no idea. I don't know. It's interesting it'll be interesting to see how they go about it. I've literally no idea how they're going to go about it.
Do you care? I mean,
not really.
No.
I keep going back to it, but when we focus on us, that's when we play our best.
Yeah.
And I know, but I'm guessing Ben will want to go even harder this summer. He'll want to build on what we've already achieved, try and be more positive, try and be more aggressive, and really take it to Australia.
Wait, what you said recently about the fact that you don't play franchise cricket, so you don't know these guys like a lot of the younger players might do, or probably players from other teams. Does that mean that it's easier to kind of focus in on the opposition, and what difference does that make, do you think?
I don't know if it does make a difference. For me, I like not knowing them away from cricket and just seeing them as an opponent and trying to really get into the battle against them, to be honest. And you know, I don't think it has happened yet, but you know, the amount of cricket that's played outside of international cricket, where you do get the mixed teams of different nationalities, and could it possibly take the edge off that spark that you get in Ashes? And currently, I don't think it will, but you know, in the future, maybe.
What have you got left to prove for yourself in an Ashes series?
I don't know if I've got anything to prove.
Yourself, almost.
To me, I'd just like to win it again. It feels like a long time since I've actually been involved in a winning Ashes.
2015 or something.
Yeah, so it's been a while, so I want to be involved. I want to try and stay fit and be a part of some success if we can have some this summer. For me, it's been amazing the last 12 months to be a part of this group. I've really enjoyed it, and I just want that to continue, and hopefully it will end in some Ashes success.
I remember talking to you when you were left out the West Indies tour, and you were upset, emotional, weren't you, that day? I mean, did you think that was it then? I mean, that you wouldn't perhaps have this sort of opportunity again?
Yeah, I guess it crossed my mind at the time, yeah. Because a similar sort of thing happened in the white ball team. After that 2015 World Cup, myself and Stuart were left out, and it was sort of right, we're going to move on with a different set of players. So there was that sort of feeling that maybe this was the end, and it, you know, for me it would have been really sad if that was the end, because I felt like I had more to offer, and I feel like I have done in the last 12 months. I've offered, I've bowled well and helped the team to win games. So yeah, I'm glad that I've had that opportunity.
But Ben made it almost a condition of coming back as captain. I mean, that must have given you a massive lift, you know.
Yeah, I think the support that myself and Stuart got from Ben and Brendan. Brendan's first phone call to me was, we're going to pick our strongest team and you're in that. So that, as a player, immediately gives you a huge amount of confidence, and a huge lift as well after a few months of sort of not knowing, of being unsure about what the future held. So grateful to them for the belief that they've shown in us.
Yeah, that can be, so even when you play so many games as you have, and 20 years in cricket, that to be wanted again must have been, the perfect sort of way to get you back involved again.
Yeah, I think as a cricketer, as a bowler, I want the captain to throw me the ball when I'm playing. So you want to be the guy that the team sort of relies upon in the pressure situations. So I think that then when you're given that confidence away from the game, off the field, saying we want you to play, then that gives you confidence going into fixtures.
Brendan never wanted these teams to sledge. Is that the case for this Ashes series, do you think? He was very keen on that when he was captain in New Zealand. And do you think Australia under Pat Cummins is a bit more the new age guy compared to some of the previous Australian captains? Do you think this will be the friendliest Ashes series we've ever had?
It could be, yeah. Could be. There always seems to be something in Ashes series that pops up, some sort of battle or something between players, whether it's Archer against Smith in 19, something like that. But yeah, again, I think it's the sort of focusing on us. We sort of take the opposition out of the equation when we take the field. We're like focusing on what we want to do with the ball, what the fields that we want to set. And I think that includes sledging, and it's not something we've talked about. It's not something that Baz has said we don't want to do it, but I just don't think this team will.
Because you just don't really have those characters apart from maybe one or two, yourself included.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the sort of person to do that. I think there was a time when it actually really benefited me as a player. It really got me into a battle, and I feel like it got the best out of me at times. But at the minute, I'm enjoying buying into the team's thing and what we want to do. So I think if it doesn't benefit the team, then I'm happy just trying to keep my head down and crack on with my bowling.
This goes into what I was saying earlier about the franchise cricket. I mean, he's all becoming a bit pally. I mean, because punters love it, don't they? They love the contest. They love that sort of aspect to Test cricket, because only Test cricket really throws that up in this.
I think you can still have that contest and drama and theatre without having the sledging element. I think you can. There's been some great passages of play in Ashes history with two guys going at it, bowler trying to get the batter out, and no words have been said. So I think we still can create that drama. We can still entertain people without having that element.
And are you looking on this as your last Ashes series?
Don't know. Could be, but it might not be. So it's difficult to know, really. I think I've gone into every series thinking it's been my last in the last 5 years. Went to Sri Lanka in 18, was it? And I was like, this is the last time I'm going to Sri Lanka, but I've been back since. So it's one of those things where I just try and focus on what's happening now, and then the future will kind of take care of itself. We've I guess in the back of my head, we've got a big break after this Ashes. Not much cricket until the new year. Not a huge amount of cricket next year either until the Ashes away. So I'm not writing it off, but we'll just have to see how we get through this summer.
Do you think you'll know? Right. A lot of players say that, don't they? I know when it's time to go. Do you think you'll know that moment?
I've no idea. I hope so, because I don't want to just drag it out and then people be like, "Oh, can he just do one?" Hang his boots up. So I'd like to be able to go out on a nice note. Seeing Morgs last year, say he woke up and just thought he just knew it was like the time to call it a day. So I think I'm just hoping that that's the case. I feel privileged to actually have got into a position where I can make the decision, because obviously as a bowler it's taken out of people's hands sometimes with injuries and selection and whatever. So it'll be nice to be able to go out on my own terms, but when that'll be, we'll have to wait and see.
Do you have any plans for post-cricket life yet?
Yes, I guess. I've been doing a bit of radio and TV over the last few years, which the beauty of not playing white ball cricket has allowed that time to try my hand at something else, which is good. So I'd like to. I think in my head I'd like to find a balance between doing some media stuff and potentially keeping my sort of foot in cricket in some way, whether it's at Lancashire, in some capacity. Or whether it's sort of a mentor role somewhere, trying to help some fast bowlers coming through in the game. But I'd like to try a bit of everything, really, I think.
Any formal coaching will you do you think? Or is that not, get your level 3s and 4s?
Yeah, that doesn't really appeal to me, to be honest. The thought of, you still got the same amount of travelling and days at cricket. I see the stress levels of the coaches I work with, particularly here at Lancs. It's a full-on job, and I think after 20 years of feeling the pressure and having to deal with that pressure, I'd quite like certainly a few years without waking up thinking, "Oh, right, I've got a game today, I need to win."